what time it is. Marvin Devine, Huber, Axel, and you know how we do. Yeah, I got the juice. Weird game, cool, make them look like cool. Always play cool, that's the biggest rule. Forget what they doing, keep on doing that. I've been making loot since like 22. Ask me how I made it right here in the booth. I'm always pursued cause of what I pursue. That's greatness, yeah, I gotta make it, I got things to lose. Boy, wanna get in my crew, boy, you can't get in my crew. Me, Axel, and Huber, way too fireable. When this joint drop, better call the troops. And when you hear the drop, better raise the roof. Better raise the roof. You already know what happens when we link up. Let's go. Yeah.
Know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice. Cody's brothers, my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice. Ride or die, 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 ride or die. Cody's brothers, my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta ride or die.
Y'all ready for this? Yeah.
This is the Lisa Baxter Show, giving you the 411 and the kidney one. My girl, and say, this is.
I need dialysis, and I want to go, and I want to get on the transplant list, Bianca. What you mean you want to get on the transplant list? I'm a party animal. I'm a party girl. I don't get sick. You might get sick, Tilly, but I don't get sick. Well, we share the same body, and believe it or not, it was mine first. And you know I can't see without my glasses. Don't you put them glasses on? You look blind with them on. You look, your glasses are too thick. No. I think we need to go to the doctor or something, because we need maybe mental or mental. You mental. I ain't never been mental. Stop taking all them pills. One time I woke up and we was at dialysis. Now what we mean at dialysis? Well, my kidneys needed to be cleaned. And I didn't want to get sick. You get that taste in your mouth, you start throwing up, and then the social worker them start calling you because some of them care, but not all of them. But some of them do care. Bianca. Listen, you better get yourself together. Because we going to party. Matter of fact, we going out partying tonight. So you stay in. I'm going out. All right? And you can look at that show you like so much. Lisa Mack, Lisa this, Lisa that. She's sick herself. All them family members ill and got that polycystic kidney disease. Don't tell me nothing else about her. Because this is the Lisa Baxter Show. Giving you the 411 in the kidney world. Happy Sunday, and how are you? Oh, I hope you're good and fine because we got a fantabulous show for you tonight. That is so right. Before I tell you about my sweet, beautiful guest, I just wanted to show you this one thing. This is a pillow. And when you have back problems or issues, you can actually put it, you have to sleep with it between your legs. They bend it that way. So I wanted you to see this part and see that part. I got it from Walgreens, and I really needed it because how it was with my procedure and everything. But I love to share with y'all because y'all were sharing something with. How about that? Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. I'm telling you right here. Okay. Well, we know that the blessings of the Lord maketh rich and it adds no sorrow with it. I've been young and I've been old, but I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. Thank you, God, for that good word. Got to eat it and got to live off of it. How about that? Well, anyway, here is our wonderful guest. She has so many degrees, more than a thermometer, if you ask me. She's a LSW. She got her KSAT and everything. She's a mother. You know what I'm saying? And she's a CEO of her own foundation and company. I'm not mad at her. She worked a lot of jobs and got a lot of things going on. But I'm gonna let her tell you her testimony and let her tell you what she's all about. And we're gonna drive and have a good fun. Welcome, Sharon Turnage. A lot of the guests like the music.
I was in the background like this. Oh my
That's
goodness.
so wonderful. I am so glad I was able to get you on the show. I can't hardly believe it.
Yes. Thank you so much. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for that introduction. I totally love it. And you made me just realize that I do so much, but I'm very humbled at the same time. I feel like that's my purpose. And so to hear it all, I was like, wow, that is me.
Well, I'm glad somebody believes me because every time I say that, they be saying, who's she talking about? Somebody was giving me an award and said something, and I was wondering who they was talking about too. If they didn't tell me to get up, I didn't even know it was me. I'm like, what? Yeah. I said, this woman sound amazing. Oh my God, I want to meet her. Oh man, I fainted almost when they said Lisa Baxter. But yeah. I ain't mad at you. And you deserve all of what I said and more. Wow. I'm just so proud of you with everything you're doing. I don't even know where to start. But I'm going to start with your degrees in business. So we're going to break that down, and then we'll ask you a little something else because I know you're a family person and everything like that. You're a believer, so we can go all in. Let's just start swimming.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
So okay, you're a LSW.
Yes.
And all right, what does that entail?
Okay.
And then we'll go to the KSAC.
Perfect. So I'm a licensed master social worker. I have my LMSW, which means that I'm a licensed clinician. I provide psychotherapy to patients. I also do case management, and my main focus is palliative care, because I like to work with people that are going through life-threatening illnesses or maybe at end of life. And so that's my specialty. I also specialize in grief counseling, and I specialize in crisis and trauma therapy.
Wow. I'm on what? Mm-mm-mm. I know Bianca and them needed you, honey. They was having some bad moments, psychological. But
Yeah.
yes. Now, how is that? Because I know a lot of times when I've been a social worker 25 years, a lot of times I've carried cases in my heart or carried them around with me, because sometimes you can't do anything about it, or you could do only what you're able to, and sometimes you might even go beyond, but it has to wear on you because you're a mother at the same time. Is that ever happened?
Well, it's hard doing the work that I do because I like to specialize in severely psychotic individuals. So I love to do the psychiatric social work type of work, which is not an easy field to get into, because it's hard working with those individuals, because they're, at their lowest, and they need a lot of work and a lot of help. And even all the help you can give them, it's still, they have so many deficits. And yes, it's hard, because doing that type of work and then helping people with grief and processing grief, especially when people have had a loss in their life and having to deal with grief properly. And this is something that we don't talk about enough as a society and as a community, because we don't know how to grieve, and we're told to deal with our losses and it's okay and grieve at your own time. But how do we really do that? So yes, a lot of times, because I work with these type of individuals, it is that you wear their situations on your heart, and it weighs on you. And I'm a very empathetic person. So I love what I do. I take what I do seriously. My goal and my purpose is to help people get through. I say, I have a slogan that the light at the end of the tunnel. I want to be the light at the end of the tunnel for people. So in doing that, like I said, it wears on you at times, but the plus of it all is that I get to be that change in someone's life. I get to pull people through the darkness and bring them to the light. That's such a rewarding thing. I can't explain how much gratitude I feel in
Mm.
doing that. So it makes everything the better for it.
Well, I mean, well, you're strong anyway, but the jobs that you pick are heavy jobs, because even dealing with somebody with substance abuse
Hmm.
and things of that nature, and depression and death, those are some heavy things. But I'm sure God has equipped you and anointed you. Plus, you've been to college and the whole thing, and trainings, and you've been at it for a great minute.
Yes.
Okay, so well, how did you get into the KSAC thing?
Yes. So in doing my work, when I was going through this process of getting my master's in social work, I was an intern at a private practice. And a lot of the individuals I, counseled, they didn't just have issues like anxiety or depression that they were dealing with. They were also dealing with addictions. So it was for me to do the type of work where I can work with individuals that have what we call co-occurring illnesses. Whereas somebody may be depressed and also be addicted to drugs or alcohol or marijuana. And I feel that a lot of the addiction comes from the traumas that they're faced with and they're dealing with. So I wanted to try to reach those individuals, because if I can help them in one way, I can actually help them the other way. If I can help them process the traumas and all the trials and tribulations that they were dealing with in life, then I can also help them with the substance abuse and everything else going on. So that was just where I felt my place was. And so that was why I went into addiction counseling as well.
Wow. Well, you on board. You on the go.
Yes.
You're on board and you're on the go. Now, having, your children and everything throughout this process, that had to be tough or hard for you. I'm sure it was a challenge, and some mother out there want to know how you did it. Maybe she got some children and she just struggling and everything. So how was that? Did you have a support system? Did you have help? Did you have to wear roller skates? Tell us.
Okay, well, it's so funny that you say this because my journey seems easy to people, but in all reality, my journey was a long, hard process. I started school in 1995 and my goal was to become a doctor. And at that time, my mom, who bless her, she told me that if you wanted to go after your dreams, do it while I'm alive so I could be a support system for you to help you with your daughter. At that time, I only had one child, even though I'm a mom of five. So, starting out that process, I went to college. I did 2 years, but had to drop out of school because I had a high risk pregnancy. I was pregnant with my second child and I couldn't complete because I had to be on bed rest. So I had to drop out of school. I had one child, and of course, one child turns into two, and then two, and then it wasn't like I could just go back, So what I had to do was just start to become a mom, raise my children, all the while just wanting to still achieve that goal of completing my degree. I was able to go back in 2005. I had the support of my mom, my family, my neighbors. I had the support of my teachers who did not want me to give up. So, and I want to brag about my school. I went to CUNY York College in Jamaica, Queens. I'm from Jamaica, Queens myself. And they told me, even if I had to bring my children, sit in that classroom and get an education. So all of this support allowed me to then graduate in 2008 with my degree in psychology with a minor in biology and
I
pre-med.
love York. I went to York. Keep going. I just want to throw that
Listen,
in there.
and I just want to say this to the people out there because a lot of times we want to go away to college. We feel we need to be on certain campuses and everything else. And I just want to say that my experience at York was so nurturing. They nurtured us. They understood that the majority of us were coming from being working moms or being people that work and school is a part-time thing for them. So they nurtured and they put so much into me as a student and just everybody around me. So what I would say to all the moms out there, first of all, we can't ever give up because my slogan for mom is mom on a mission. So we're not
MOM,
just
right?
moms, we're moms on a mission. And my mission was to show my children that regardless of what circumstances, I can complete my degree and I can become anything out here. And so you stick with it, you find you don't have to worry about going away thinking about what the young, kids with no children do. You find what works in your capacity. So as a mom, you go to that neighborhood school. You go to a CUNY school, one of the best educations I ever received. And they will nurture and work with you as parents and they will get you to the end goal, which is graduating with my degree in 2008.
Touchdown. Did it go there?
Yeah.
I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. Now, you went to college. You've been
Yes.
a mother, and even with those challenges, you had more challenges and still finished. I'm very blown away with that. You've also what was it? Quadruplets, right? You had
Yes.
right. You were
Yes.
pregnant with
So,
quadruplets.
because this wasn't an easy road for me. So, as much as I sit here and I'm smiling and I'm in such a good place,
Looking
I had,
beautiful too. God done
thank
rubbed
you.
that oil all over you, Shondo. He done
Thank
anointed
you.
you. Go on and tell that story.
52, 52, 52. And but I want people out there to know that I also had many tragedies in my life. People have compared my life to Job in the Bible, where Job had so many trials and tribulations. He that he had to experience. So in 1993, I was pregnant with a set of quadruplets, and my babies went to approximately like 24 weeks. And then because I'm a high risk pregnancy and I wasn't able to hold the pregnancy, I had them. So I lost 4 boys. And some people say quadruplets, did you have in vitro? No. 4 boys, natural conception, 2 sets of identical twins. And at the time when I lost my boys, people had told me, well, you were going to have 4. I know you're happy. I know you didn't really want 4 boys. So I dealt with my grief in silence. And I felt that I didn't have a right to be sad about my situation, to mourn my situation because of other people's opinions of the fact that I shouldn't have had them, that I kept living with life. I never processed my trauma. I never processed my grief. So in 2000, I had a daughter. I got pregnant again. And that pregnancy was high risk as well. I have issues with having babies. The doctors told me after my first pregnancy that I wouldn't be able to have any more, but I still was getting pregnant. And even though I lost the boys, I had so much hope for this pregnancy. But in 2000, I lost my daughter. And that was a tragedy that shifted my entire life, because I felt like this time around, I'm going to process my trauma. It's going to be okay for me to grieve and miss my baby and want my baby to be here. The grief moment that I didn't have with my 4 boys. So I came to the realization that I lost 5, and I took that time to grieve, which was not easy. And a social worker helped me come out of that moment. And so that shifted my life and sent me, instead of wanting to go to school to be a doctor, which I was on the path to do, it shifted and sent me on a path to wanting to become either a psychologist, a social worker, but somebody that helps people, not physically, but mentally.
That's what it's all about. Each one reach one, each one teach one. I mean, some things that we go through is not always just for us. It's for us to help somebody else with it, or somebody else through it. And you giving back, and we're all trying to give back.
Like what I call turning pain into purpose. So many times we go through tragedies and traumas and pain in our life, and it depends on what we do with that pain. Sometimes people take that pain and then they become suicidal, or they're depressed, or they go to things like alcohol and drugs and everything else and that's how they process it. Me, I felt like I needed to take all the pain and the tragedies in my life and process it in the appropriate way, and use that energy, use the life of my quadruplets, the life of my baby girl, use that in a way to invigorate me to find my purpose. And that's when my purpose was revealed to me. I sort of say the day that my daughter died, which is August 7th, 2000, was my rebirth, because that let me know that day that my purpose was to help other people that lose a child to deal with that grief and to have the support system that I never had, because when a baby dies, people don't get to see that baby. People don't get to connect with that baby. It's not like when somebody that's already been here, that people have met and known, people that have miscarriages, or people that have babies that die at birth, like my daughter died 26 hours later. Nobody connected, so they don't understand the grief. So I started a nonprofit to be able to help those individuals, hold their hands and help them deal with the grief.
I should have talked to you when I had all the miscarriages. But anyway, keep going, because I love what you did, taking pain and turning it to purpose. You got to do that with your tragedy sometimes. Make it work for you.
We tend to look at everything painful and everything bad in such a negative way, and don't realize that so many pain moments or stressor moments or trauma moments have led to such amazing things to happen. Like in our modern time, like for me, losing my quadruplets and losing my daughter was that moment for me that set me on a path of purpose. We have in this generation right now, we just experienced George Floyd and how unfortunate that was. But that one moment invigorated all of us. It put so many people on a path to purpose. And that's what turning pain into purpose for me means. I dealt with my losses. I processed my losses. And then I said, my babies, they will never die. Their spirit will live on in the work that I do, in helping the next individuals to deal with their issues, especially when it comes to infant loss. Because I don't know if people out there realize there's 4 million births and there's 1 million losses. So 1 in 4 mothers is going to experience losing a baby at birth, whether it's through miscarriage or stillborn, or like I did after 26 hours, but 1 million women. And we don't even talk about it. It's not something that is expressed. And then we won't even get into the maternal mortality rate. Is for in the US is similar to some third world countries. And then for people like myself, who is African American, our numbers are 2.5 times that of others, which is so many families dealing with this grief, not having any resources or anywhere to go to. So that is my purpose. To the point to whereas, as you can see on my shirt, I started a nonprofit called the Talented Co Foundation. And the purpose of that foundation is to promote, educate, and spread awareness about infant loss, maternal loss, and childhood life-threatening illnesses. And it's to really just let people realize how this is going on, and it's not even being spoken about, and that all these families are suffering and dealing and not having anywhere to go.
Well, you bringing it and you're putting it together. I mean, wow. Who would have known all of this comes together? This is how God wants it a lot of times. Your mother was my babysitter. She was
Yes.
the mother of our church and everything like that. And I went to her when I was going on dialysis, because Rochdale was right there. The doctor office was there. When they gave me the crazy news or whatever, I went to your mother, a praying woman, a loving woman, a woman with a phenomenal testimony.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And really spoken to our lives and stuff like that. So it just made us family, because we go so way back, even before you was born. So I ain't mad at you, but I love it, what you're doing. And I know that some of you talk a little bit about the foundation, so people will know. You have any websites, emails, they could contact you, because your mother and father had to deal with cancer, and then the baby. So tell us how you wrap that up into a nice bow. That was tragic, but
exactly. So like you said, I am the proud owner of the Talented Co Foundation, which is that's my baby. And that foundation was started the idea was started in 2000, but incorporated in 2006. And in in my baby's memory, I just helped so many individuals. And the nonprofit has a website. Like I said, the name of the nonprofit is the Talented Co Foundation. The website is TNFI for Talented Co Foundation Incorporated. So TNFI.org. I'm on Facebook. The foundation is on Instagram, TNFI. And we also have so we also have merchandise and stuff, so you can support the movement. What I do is, through my nonprofit, I help families, whether I help them bury their babies, provide funeral monies for funerals, or financial assistance. I help them with their needs, bedside assistance, support groups. So I just want you guys to know out there, if it's anybody you know that lost a baby or dealing with a child with a life-threatening illness, I provide support groups, and I will also do one-on-one counseling. So, and a lot of it is volunteer because, like I said, it's a nonprofit, and this is just what the goal is to do. I also wanted to bring up the fact that, because I said I've had tragedies, and when you think you are done with all the tragedies in your life and your life is just going the way it needs to be, once again another tragedy struck. So I had already lost my father to cancer when I was a young girl, and in 2009 my mom was diagnosed with cancer, as well as my son Louis Danvers was diagnosed with blood cancer as well. So I had my mom, who was terminal at the time, and my son, who was fighting for his life, and I had to deal with that. So for one, I want to tell you that even when you think all the tragedies is done and your life is smooth, once again tragedies can happen. And at that time, I didn't know what to do because my mom was my rock. Like, she said my mom was the rock of everybody. She was a mother, she was a foster mother, she was a pastor, and she was my support. And I remember my mom telling me that I've lived, but you do what you have to do to save your son. Just be there. Just focus on him and make sure he lives. And so imagine having to deal with a blood cancer diagnosis in your 4-year-old son, right? Losing your mom. And they were in the hospital, one in the adult side and one in the children's side. And this was my reality. But you know what? Once again, purpose. God doesn't make no mistakes, and I'm a praying person. I believe in God. I believe in the Lord. And I believe he doesn't put anything on us that we can't handle. So what did I do? I listened to my mom. I stuck to my purpose, and I did everything to help my son. And then I also just started a subsidiary of my nonprofit, just dealing with children with blood cancer, which is the Louis Danvers Leukemia Fund. I'm holding up a shirt. The slogan is, if you could save a life, would you? And I decided that I would take this moment as well and find purpose in it. So I help identify individuals dealing with blood cancer. I do bone marrow awareness because so many individuals, about approximately thousands, 10,000 plus individuals, need a bone marrow transplant every year to survive blood cancers. And the awareness is not out there. So I took my son's name and my son's story, and I went around the country. My nonprofit is actually in 10 states, and we registered over, I believe, 3,000 people, and we found people matches, which is so important because organ donation, which comes full circle, is something that we don't realize is so important. If we have the means to help and save somebody's life, why would we not do anything to do that? And like the slogan says, if you could save a life, would you? You have to really look at yourself and really dig down deep and realize, if you could save somebody's life, would you? Would you do anything to save your fellow man? And I've made that commitment that yes, I can, and yes, I will. I registered on the registry myself. My son is in remission right now. Thank God for that. But if he relapses, he will need a match in order to survive. So I just want to put this out there to anybody listening to this. If you are willing to just swab your cheek to become somebody's match and put yourself on that registry, please do that. Do it in the name of me. Do it in the name of my son. Thank you. Did I do good?
That you see better than I do. That's why I never say nothing with the comments, because I can barely see my phone. I was laughing because I have the other glasses on, but I'm digging and looking. But I know they said something good, because I always have a good group, a blessed group. And I mean, your testimony is out there, girl, is out there.
Did I do
You
good?
know, you did excellent. Fantabulous, Shondo. You know, so listen, if we forgot anything, let me know. And if
No,
not, I want to know, who would you like to give a shout out to? Because this is just a wonderful thing and a good night, you know? So please.
I just want to give shout out to all my people out there, my Black and brown people of color. And I mean to everybody out there in the world, but definitely to my Black and brown people, because we are dealing with enough trauma. We are grieving as a community, and we don't have enough people that are truly vested in our progress. There's people that say they do, but they don't. But I just want you to know, I love you. I am here for you. We are here for each other. Let's start thinking about turning our pain into purpose and seeing what we can do for the next individuals, for the next people, because we are not here alone. Each one teach one. I want to thank God for taking me this far. I want to thank my family, my friends for always supporting me. And I hope my story and my life touches somebody out there. Doesn't matter what you go through, you could come out of it and you could be happy again. You could smile. This smile is genuine. And I'm thankful, and like truly thankful to anybody that's listening to this story. I hope you get motivated. I hope you get motivated, and I hope you understand that you are loved. God is love, and I love you, and I'm here.
I ain't mad at you. Healing is the children's bread. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but God shall deliver us out of them all. You hear me?
Yes.
The word never lies. The word never lies. And it's falling on good hearts and good minds and good spirits. Now, I'm glad you came on this show. I'm so happy. I don't know what to do with you. I could have took you so many ways, but I like the way that it went. You know, so you didn't forget to say anything. I didn't forget to say anything, God willing. You know, all I know is my next week guest is Mr. Jason, a powerful brother. You know, so thanks again for coming. A million blessings. Keep doing what you do. And this, I'm proud, and I know your mother's proud, and I know God is proud. Your father too.
Thank you so much, Lisa. You know I love you anyway, because you've always been family to me. But like I said, you inspire me, and that's people inspire me as well. I may inspire people, but people inspire me. And when my dark days come, and when I miss my mom, or when I'm missing my babies, it's people like you that give me the motivation to keep doing me.
What an honor and a sweet thing to say. You make sure you get some rest and keep your because I know you got to work tomorrow. Me too. Yes. And keep doing what you're doing. I'm proud, and I'm going to stay proud. And you need me for anything, any resources, you got it right here. All right.
Thank you. Biggest thing is pray for my movement. Just help me spread the word. Pray for my movement, because what I'm trying to do is just saving lives.
Yes, absolutely. Well, have a fantabulous night. Rise Up East New York does the same thing in the Dreyfus Foundation, who I work for as a health campaign manager. We all trying around here, and we all want to build the person up. Just not fix a little thing when they got 10 things wrong. We try to get a little more than just one thing to help them with, but you just do the best you can. If it's one, it's one. But I ain't mad at you. Love you to the moon and back.
Yes. Thank you. And blessings everybody, and pray. If anything else, give it to God. God is our Father, and He heals all hearts. Believe me.
Good night. Now, guys, you have truly 100% heard it. And I'm telling you, was that beautiful or not? That was excellent. So I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for always being a blessing. I thank you for praying for me and my family because of the loss of my cousin, Tanya Brown. I had one cousin about almost 2 weeks ago, and now another one. So thank you for holding us up in prayer. Please continue to pray for the Browns, the Johnsons, the Crosslands, all of us, the Baxters. All right. So I love you, and I'll see you next week. V for victory. Take care of your kidneys, and they'll take care of you. Good night.
Jesus. Yeah. My girl, and say, this is the Lisa Baxter Show, giving you the 411 and the kidney one. My girl, and say, this is.
Brothers, my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with